All right, so we got some battery issues here. Well, alternator too. But I'll tell you my story. So if you have these symptoms with your truck or vehicle, maybe you can diagnose it too. But yesterday morning, after I was done running dogs, I started the truck with the remote starter, because with these big trucks, it's good to let them warm up a little bit, let the fluids get going. And after about maybe 20 seconds, the truck turned off, and then it started up again on its own, ran for 10 seconds, turned off, started again on its own. And then I put the key in the ignition and turned it forward, and then it stayed running. And that was kind of odd. I've never seen that issue before with the remote starter. Usually the truck just runs. So anyways, I did my errands and did my photo session, and when I was getting ready to come home, it was early evening, and so my lights came on, and I drove for about 10 minutes, and then my ABS light came on, which had never come on before, and the radio turned off, and the radio display said low battery. So I turned my headlights off right away, and the ABS light stayed on for another 10 minutes as I was coming up the hill. And then when I got to the top of the hill, the battery light came on, and I knew I was in trouble. So I shut everything off that I possibly could, and went for about another 10 minutes, and the truck started sputtering, and the digital display on the dash actually shut off. So I went for another maybe 2 minutes, and the truck just completely died. I rolled to a stop, pulled off the side of the road, and got out, raised the hood, and within 10 seconds, a super nice guy and his Dodge diesel stopped and asked if I needed help. And so we put a charge on the battery, and I only had a mile to get home, and jump started it, got it running. He stayed behind me and followed me home, so really appreciate that guy. Super nice guy. I guess he's working construction on a road project up here, up by Pequon Lake Inn. So really appreciate that help. So I put a charge on it this morning, and about 95% charge on the battery. I drove to town, 25-minute drive to O'Reilly's, and we put it on a tester, and alternator was not charging. The battery is not charging anything. So I bought a new alternator and a new battery, because this battery had issues with the last couple winters. When it gets down to 20 below, it will not start. And then last winter, it actually froze. The battery froze solid on me when we had the 35 below, and I had to pull the battery out of the truck, bring it in the house, defrost it, put a charge on it, and then I was fine. So might as well replace the battery while we're at it. So here we are on a fall day, northern Minnesota, in the rain, off the grid, and we're going to put in a brand new alternator and a new battery. All right, here we go. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect this battery. I'm going to pull this battery out anyways. So just one bolt here, I think it's 8mm, and then this bolt here to hold the battery in its little bed there. So I'm going to pull that out first, and then I want to show you the alternator here. So it looks to be just these two bolts here on top, this one, that one. I'm hoping I don't have to pull this brace off. If I do, it's just two more bolts. So that one, and there's one under the hose on this side here, and then two bolts at the bottom, one right here. Oops, I can't see. Two bolts at the bottom, you can't really see it. One down here and one on this side, and then of course take off the serpentine belt. So we'll do the battery first. pulled this whole thing right out. Okay, it started raining harder, so I went and put my rain jacket on. I'm going to spray a little rust release. I don't care if that gets into the alternator or not, but I'm pulling this one out. Just a little release on here so I don't break it. Break these bolts because I need them. We'll let that sit for a couple minutes and then we'll loosen the serpentine belt. Alright, here we go. Alright, serpentine belt is off. Now let's see if I can get these top two. This one and that one. They look like 10, 11 millimeter. Alright, 10 mil. Let's see if we can break these. Well, that's an awkward position. Extension. Oh, that wasn't too bad at all. I was really gonna have to break that sucker. Okay, there's one. Okay, there's one here. This one's a little harder to get at, but it seems once you break it loose, then you can roll it out by hand. There's not a lot of room here. I'm hoping that I can just remove these two and slide the alternator out once I get the two main bolts, instead of taking this whole upper brace off. We will find out. So I'll get the bottom two. Those look like 10 mil. Now these ones I'm assuming are going to be really tight. Might have to break out the 1/2-inch drive. No, not too bad. I think that's a pretty long bolt. Not too long. These aluminum bolts. It's really odd. Maybe it's not aluminum. Okay, other side. You gotta be kidding me. There, it broke free. The fan pulley is in the way. I don't know if you can see here. Let's turn the camera around. The only other way is to get a wrench in there. Can't put enough torque on a 10mm wrench. See if I can hand loosen it. Nope. Work with the tools that you have. We're not all professional mechanics here. And we're trying to do things on our own. Save money. This is not a super hard job. Come on. There we go. Oh my goodness. You know, I might not have to pull these bolts all the way out. I might be able to just lift it. But then this top, yeah, that top support's gonna have to come off. Let's take that off. That way I can just lift it right out. Take this bolt out, and then I can loosen this far side and then just swing it. So it looks like once you loosen the alternator bolts on the bottom, that just pops right in. Might be able to swing it around. Yep. There we go. Swing it out. And then that's taped. The wire's taped, so I'm gonna pull these wires off the alternator. Should be able to just pop it right out. Okay, what do we got here? That one's bolted on. So, it's like the 10mm. Everything 10mm. Oh shit. Just fell on top of the motor. Well, at least it's not 20 below. clipped in somehow. Good luck getting that off. And this one's clipped in. Gently lift that out. Might have to pull this entire brace out so I can safely unclip that big one without breaking the plastic. Wonderful. Just wonderful. Alright, I was able to pop the clips without breaking anything. I did notice that this particular little harness has some slight corrosion in there, so I'm going to put some dielectric grease on the new one, or on their new one, so that it doesn't corrode. Let's check this one here. And this one looks pretty good. We'll leave that. So it's ready to come out. I gotta fish out that bolt. That nut is down there. I'll fish that out, and then we'll hook up the new one. Alright, so here's the new one, the old one side by side. I'm not sure if you can hear this, but when I spin it, sounds like the bearing might be going too. When you spin this one, take that off there. When you spin this one, it's a little tighter. It does make a little bit of noise, but not as loud as this one. Wonder if that was the noise underneath. I'm going to check my pulleys too. See how well they're doing. But let's pop this sucker in. Okay, so we got the new one in place. And I'm going to hook up all the wires here first. That's good. Here, and this one goes here, snapped. And this one is here. Let's try not to drop this. Stay. Tighten that one down. This is pretty good. Let's boot on. Okay, get this top base lined up. It's there. It goes right about there. And I'm going to tighten these bottom bolts just a little bit. I'm not going to snug them up yet. Get them going at least. I don't want to go too tight on those because I want to make sure the top, that strap that goes across the top, is lined up properly. So okay, I'm gonna do these top bolts first. Ones first. Okay, one more here. Of course, it's got to be in the hardest spot. Come on. Can't get this last one started. Okay, there we go. Okay, these top ones are just hand tight, so I'm going to torque up the bottom ones. Isn't that rain lovely? Nothing I'd rather be doing. Alright, everything's back on. So, just double check, make sure all the wires are connected. It's nice and firm in there, not going anywhere. And I'm going to check some of these pulleys. And then we'll put the belt back on. Alright, belt's back on. Just make sure that it's around every pulley properly. It's pretty good. Okay, next we'll put the battery in. Get out of my way. Why it's so difficult? Okay, well, it's gonna have to go there. Good enough for the girls I go out with. Okay, we'll bolt her back in. We can find the hole. There's the hole. Sometimes it's hard to find the hole. Okay. And then this plastic tabs goes off. Okay, I'm gonna clean up these contacts. Oh, this one's touching that nice. It's a good little tool. It's got the wire brush on this side and then some wire brush on there to clean the battery terminals. Alright, so I'm going to put on a little bit of battery grease. And then these little guys just help with corrosion. You don't have to put them on, but I always do. Okay, let's grease her up. Grease her up. Isn't that rain just lovely? I think this job calls for a celebration. After this, I'm going to take myself to the local bar and have some lunch. Beautiful Thursday morning in northern Minnesota. Okay, so let's do this one here first. That's on. They are connected. Tighten those down. Don't want to over torque those. Come on, wrench. The wrong way. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Good and secure. Alright, I'm going to clean up some of my tools here. I got to bring some in the house because they're soaking wet. And dry them out and lubricate them. Alright, here's a moment of truth right here. Power. Started. And there you go. Change the alternator. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you can. Leave a comment below. And we'll talk to you later.